Hello everyone, this is David Blair, the Crosshairs Trader. In this short video, I want to discuss developing a watch list, which I believe is very important for many reasons, and I've listed a few here. First of all, developing a watch list keeps you focused. If you've got a particular strategy that you follow, if you develop a watch list based on that strategy, it will keep you focused on that particular strategy, and you will be prepared for your day, will prepare you for being able to take advantage of your edge when it actually shows up. And also it simplifies your process. I believe good trading, successful trading, is very simple. And developing a watch list or a checklist, if you will simply give you a better and more simplified way of keeping track of the information that you feel is pertinent to your trading edge. And then fourthly, it helps you manage your emotions, and I think that's probably the most important. Instead of getting up each morning looking at the market and trading off pure emotion, the futures are way up in the morning, so you immediately go look for bullish trades, or the market's tanking in the morning, you're immediately going and looking for bearish trades. You're watching CNBC, you're watching 1,000 people on Twitter or StockTwits. That's no way to manage a watch list and manage your trading. That is your emotion, or your emotions are simply running away from you and allowing you to trade off the cuff with no strategy, no edge, no preparedness. So when you trade off those emotions, you can get into a lot of trouble. So I believe a watch list will help you manage your emotions. So it keeps you focused, simplifies your process, helps you prepare for the day ahead, and most importantly, manages your emotions. So let me give you an idea of how I manage my watch list, and I do so in the TradeStation workspace. You can do this in any workspace, any brokerage account, however it's set up. This is just a template and a general idea of the importance of doing so and how I do so. We take the radar screen in TradeStation. I've developed several indicators, edges to trade based on trend continuation, consolidation, and trend reversal. That's basically, there's only two markets. There's trending markets and consolidating markets. And if you have some indicators or a way to manage those and spot those, have something that gives you an alert of when those edges appear, that's all you need. And that's all I've done with Crosshairs Trading. Stocks that are in the crosshairs are there for a reason. They're there because they have signaled a trade or are in the process of potentially signaling a trade for us to be able to take advantage of. So when we take a look at our radar screen, we have our signals here, and they also show up on our charts as well. And in the radar screen, what I've done is I've listed several types of trades that we look at. Let me move this over so we can see this a little bit better here. Move our charts over. So basically, I've separated this into two watch lists. We look at two time frames in Crosshairs Trading. We look at the weekly and we look at the daily. So what I've done is I've listed a watch list based on daily, and then, as we'll see in a moment, a watch list based on the weekly. Underneath the watch list, I have bullish and bearish. Underneath the bullish and the bearish, I have each one of the types of trades that we look for. We look for an in the crosshair trade, which we'll look at in just a moment. We look at a box break trade. This is where there has been a trend, there's been a long consolidation, and then there's an actual breakout of that box, which may or may not fire a signal. And then there's a dual chart crosshair, and what that means is there is a signal on both the weekly and the daily chart at the same time, and we'll see that in just a moment. There's a false breakout. I haven't listed any here. There's not many in this market right now as far as a false breakout. There it was. It's another one of my strategies for reversals, and we'll see that in just a moment. Pullback is simply looking for a trade to set up. So it's pulling back in a trending market, possibly back to a support area to test a previous breakout, and we'll see that in just a moment also. And then instead of a box break, we have what I call a stock in the box. It's a stock in consolidation that has not broken out yet, but we're anticipating that it could. I like in my watch list to be prepared and to be watching for stocks that could be getting ready to fire a signal, not ones that have already fired one. And if you watch my pre-market videos, you'll understand that, and you'll see that play out from day to day. Then we have our bearish ones, and I don't have many listed here because right now in this market it's just very bullish, and we do not have many bearish trade opportunities, but I've got a couple listed here for example's sake. And then we have our watch list on the weeklies, and you know I do a weekly chart review. And of course I've just got a few here. There are dozens that Crosshairs traders have to watch for corresponding signal on the daily chart. So I like to have my weekly chart set up, and we have some weeklies to look at as well, both bullish and bearish. And then we have our box break and stock in the box, just like on the daily. Now for those who have TradeStation, let me share with you how to incorporate a watch list as far as the labeling. If you right click anywhere in the radar screen, you can insert a label row. Once you do that, double left click, and then you can type in whatever you want to put in, sample, bearish, bullish, whatever your edge is. And I need to capitalize this. You can describe it however you want. Your edge, for instance. Hit enter. There you go. Now when you want to insert a symbol, you can right click and insert blank row and put in a symbol. Let's just say Google, and you've put in Google here. That's going to pop up. You're going to see there was a DCH on Google back here several weeks ago. That would have been down here in the weekly chart. Bullish. But once you put in Google, if you want to insert another symbol right after that, you just hit insert on your keyboard, and you can see how it does that for you. So when I get signals in the radar screen, I will move those, copy those, and paste them, move them down into one of these areas if I feel like after I incorporate my discretionary thinking and my intuitive thinking into the trade. We have our mechanical and our discretionary. If it moves from the mechanical to the discretionary, I like what I see there, then I'll move it down here and make a decision on whether I want to make a trade or not. That's the art of the chart. Alright, so here's our watch list. So let's take a look at how I have placed these trades and why. So here we've got an itch, and in the crosshair, EWH, and that simply means that a signal has fired on the daily chart. And you can see that as of today, May the 20th, 2013, you can see there was a pullback and a breakout itch. OIH, got another one here. And I like to draw some lines on my chart. I like to see these breakouts after a nice pullback. Dots here, breaks out. Daily charts again. These are the daily charts that we're looking at. Let me move this so you can clearly see that. And you could see some other signals here. False breakout. There it was, our signal. An itch. Of course, if you want to know about these signals, you can participate in CTU. There you go. There's CRZO. Those were our actual signals that fire in our workspace, and these are the ones that I go over in our videos. Box break, don't have any right now that I want to share as an example. Dual chart, what that means is we had a signal not only on the daily chart, on CBS, we have these itches you can see, but we also had it fire on the weekly chart. See the DCH, and itch together on two charts. That's the dual chart crosshair. APC, same thing. You can see the DCH here and the itch on APC. And then we move down to a there it was-er trade. This is one I've actually been going over in the morning videos. And again, you can see there it was-er trade, broken downtrend line, and then we have our high candle count dots for the there it was-er trade on both the daily and the weekly chart. And gave you a there it was-er. Came back, held the support area we were watching, gave us another signal today. Actually gives you an opportunity to add to your position if you're able to do so. A pullback. Now, a pullback is simply a stock that we've traded. It's had a nice run, high candle count dots starting to appear. You might want to take profits when that happens. I do. And then what we're doing is we're waiting on it to pull back, possibly to a trend line, for instance, and then break out again and give us another trade. And so we're prepared and watching it. If you watch my morning videos, I'll talk about we're waiting on this stock or we're waiting on that stock to do this or that. And that's what we're waiting on with Beam as an example. A stock in a box is one that it's going sideways in a consolidation box. You can see Lulu here was going sideways for a while, broke out. Now it's going sideways again at a resistance area. And here's our high candle count dot. So we're just watching Lulu to go sideways, maybe even come all the way over this trend line and then break out again. This is an important part about learning how to trade. Watching stock action, allowing it to tell you what it's doing, what it's setting up to possibly do. And that's what a stock in the box is doing, going sideways just like this one did here, and then fired an itch. And now it's going sideways again. We're waiting on it to possibly set up, fire another itch. So it's a stock in the box. Bearish, let's look at some bearish trades. False breakout here. That's a signal, and you can see the false breakout. There's not many of those in the market here, and this comes under the bearish heading. This is bearish, and most of these false breakouts aren't working because the general market right now simply continues to move higher. But you can see where the discretionary part comes in here. These signals did not break the uptrend line. This one did. But now we have a support level. Of course, I'm getting into our strategy and what I discuss in CTU, but this gives you an idea. Now it's going back to a support level. Pullback, a bearish pullback. A good example right now would be CTSH. You can see where it's pulling back to a downtrend line, and I want to see what the price action is going to do here. It might give us a signal to go down here, so I'm going to be watching it. And in our weekly watch list, I've got it again listed by daily and weekly, and so we'll watch our weekly. Take a look. XLE, and what we're doing here is we're simply waiting on a potential trade to set up at the same time that the DCH fires on the weekly chart, or we let it rest on that daily chart, come back, give us a signal to agree with the DCH. Depends on what the price action is like on the daily. For instance, XLE right now for me is too extended. I want it to come back and rest first and then give us a trade. HAL, same thing. You can see the DCH here. I put some support lines in. UPS, same. We were just discussing UPS, weren't we? Broke out of a box, DCH. Now we're waiting on that signal to fire on the daily chart a second time. I've already traded it once here. Started going sideways, took my money on a measured move. Now we're waiting on the next move higher. Box break on the weekly. You can see where A is now breaking out of a long consolidation box. Now we're waiting on a signal on the daily chart. It's not there yet. We have to patiently wait for it. And then an example of a stock in the box is eBay. Now for me, I go through hundreds of stocks, both looking for my mechanical signals that's already programmed in, and also I go through my stocks to simply review and look for pullbacks and stocks in the box and box breaks to see where certain stocks may be setting up for a potential trade so that I'm prepared and ready when it happens. And so eBay would be one that I call a stock in the box. That last DCH did not break out here. It failed, so we're in a box, and I'm simply waiting on eBay to potentially give us a trade. It may never happen, but it's a stock in the box. All right. If you've got any questions about Crosshairs trading, about how I set up a watch list and how to do so in TradeStation or in your own platform, or have some ideas you want to pass along to me, I'll be glad to take a listen. Be glad to answer any of your questions. Be glad to have you become a part of the Crosshairs Trading family and Crosshairs Trading University. Contact me at david@thecrosshairstrader.com or visit my website at www.thecrosshairstrader.com. Thank you.